What does that look like? Hey,
Yeah.
you have 5 minutes to catch my ear. Is it really,
Think
is it
of
like a
almost
VC pitch session? Yeah.
I built up a demo of what it could look like and pre-hacked together and captured some interest and then convinced people that this was possible and a good idea, but then we had to argue for it being open source instead of being a product.
Yeah.
And so we had to argue a lot, about it being open source.
Is it the arguments because of money?
Yeah, I think money and control. Everybody would rather own everything, right? Like
I don't know. Well, it depends on what your...
It's one of those things where from a business perspective, if you can make it something that is the only thing, it's like massively successful and you're the only one who can sell it, that's great. But the problem is you can't, right? Like in order for it to be massively successful, you need an ecosystem. And in order for there to be an ecosystem, you need it to be open source. And so, but it took a while to convince people that was true because it takes a while for people to let go of the dream. I had someone at one point in a different context say like, I'd love it if we could create Terraform, but it only worked with our cloud. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. But the reason people are interested in Terraform is because it works with multiple clouds.
Yeah,
so
yeah. That's
it's not an option.
You convinced them that it was going to be open source. Okay, that worked.
We convinced them. We got a bunch of other people to join in with us. And then early on, Red Hat came over and joined us and started doing a bunch of co-engineering work. And they contributed a bunch of really senior people and did some really great work. And we did a ton of like legwork, and people like Kelsey came along and started doing a ton of evangelism and driving attention and interest. And it was a hard couple of years, I think, of pounding the pavement, convincing people to care and stuff like that. Like, I think looking back, people are like, oh my God, it just is the thing that took over. But I think people don't realize that in those first 2014 to 2016, like it was a lot of work, both in the building and also in the evangelizing.